everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I am Shruti, and today we have something little different, yet very insightful to all the students, especially aspiring college goers. Joining me today is a special guest, Soumik, who is currently studying in ILS college and is in final year. And as you know, I am in GLC. And this video, we'll be sharing our perspectives from our respective colleges, discussing everything about campus life, academics, extracurriculars to opportunities and challenges. This is an informative discussion, yet an informal, formal one, aimed at helping you guys to make a better decision in terms of which college would you like to choose. So, welcome to the channel, Somik.
Thank you, Shruti. It's good to be here.
So, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Soumik Ghosh. I'm from ILS. I'm in my fifth year. I am originally from Mumbai. I moved to ILS Pune for my studies. Right. Currently, as I said, I'm in my fifth year. I'm interning here and there. Well, let's see what happens. But again, guys, I know that this is a daunting discussion and a daunting decision that you will make because it's going to affect how how you'll turn out in your eventual legal careers. Trust me, I understand that it seems like it's very important that you choose all the right metrics. While it does play a significant factor, in the end, what will matter is hard work, and that is there's no replacement for that. So chill out, आराम से अपना डिसीजन लो, हम दोनों का डिस्कशन सुन लो, थोड़ा ज्ञान देंगे, वो भी सुन लेना, एंड फिर देख लेना कौन से कॉलेज में आना है।
नहीं, दैट वाज अ गुड वन। सो अभी तो इनका चेंज हो गया है। पहले हमारा एमएचसीटी स्कोर से मिलता था, बट इनका परसेंटाइल हो गया। बट देन टू वी कैन शेयर व्हाट रैंक यू गॉट इनटू, लाइक डिड यू हैव एन ऑप्शन टू चूज बिटवीन जीएलसी एंड आईएलएस, एंड व्हाट रैंक टिल व्हाट रैंक वी कैन गेट इनटू आईएलएस, सो एंड देन आई विल शेयर अबाउट जीएलसी।
Okay, well, ILS is usually the second most preferred college in MHCT, right? So, I'm not 100% sure as to exactly how it would work out in percentile because it's a new system right now. But I scored around 116 or 118 during my MHCT, and that I had an option of getting into both ILS and GLC. I chose ILS, so that's it. So, see, as long as you're in the top, I think 240 to 400 ranks, you should be fine.
Yeah, but this is for MS students, and for OMS, you have to be in top 24
Yes.
to like get into GLC if you want to go into GLC, and then the rest, at least till the rank of 50, you can get into GLC and ILS both depending on what your choice is, right? Yeah, and regarding like my rank and my like score, it was, I don't remember actually my score, but I remember my rank in MS it was around 9090, and I got into GLC बहुत आराम से through that score because I believe that more people who were above me, I guess preferred ILS or like GLC, but GLC में anyways we have 240 plus students in each batch. So considering OMS are only 24, there are a good number of people who can come in, and also we have reservations and stuff. So मतलब रैंक थोड़े डिफर कर जाते हैं, बट अभी जो हमने हमारे हिसाब से बताया, अब जो करंट सिस्टम है जो भी है वो उसके हिसाब से कुछ डिफर होगा, बट वो तो अलग बात है। तो आई गेस वी आर नॉट सम लाइक इन पोजिशन टू एक्चुअली स्पीक ऑन दिस मच, सो लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। व्हाई डिड यू चूज आईएलएस ओवर जीएलसी? like what, like a brief introduction
Um,
to ILS.
okay, so ILS, as you know, is located pretty much in the central area of Pune, right? So that's one thing. The reason I chose ILS was because it was more academic oriented, right? And more than that, while as I said, like academics is a primary factor, for me, it wasn't as much of a factor to choose ILS. For me personally, choosing ILS was more about the collaborative network and what it offers, and pretty much the infrastructure that ILS has built around its legacy. Right, so that was the primary reason I chose it. And secondly, I mean, moving to a new city is always fun, right?
Yeah.
So that was also there.
For me also it was kind of similar only because like I stay close to Pune, so I wanted something new because I've been to Pune many times when I was a child. I wanted to move to a new city, experience a new life. And if you're getting a chance to come into Mumbai, then who would deny? You are from Mumbai, so you don't have that craze. But I am coming from a small
Yeah.
background. I know that this is something like a big thing to get into Mumbai. So I chose this, but I also knew that the opportunities in GLC are higher in terms of like distances to the law firms, the college location, and everything. And ILS, I believe that I don't like I'm not very much accustomed to Pune's environment and nature, like atmosphere to be precise. And Mumbai ka I am in more favor because where I come from, it is like very like it rains a lot over there. So Mumbai is also humid and dense, so I preferred Mumbai over that. So yeah, let's move to attendance. Like
I think that is the
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I think that is the first time somebody actually said that they like Mumbai's weather.
yeah. I know,
But
I know this
all
is a
right.
differing opinion, but this is me. Okay, anyways, let's move to the attendance. How is what is there 70% compulsory attendance or stuff like that?
Well, yes. I mean, if you're coming to ILS, guys, anyone who's watching this, be very aware that attendance is one of the central requirements of this college, right? You need to hit 75% attendance and a minimum of 55, post which you can give medicals, right? So you need to have a minimum of 55% if you want to be considered, even if you want to give your medical, because 75% is the minimum amount that you have to attend. So if you hit 55, then you can give medicals and bring it up to 75. But if you don't hit 55, then there's not much anyone can do, to be very precise. So, yes, attendance is a very central requirement. And I honestly believe that it builds up discipline to a certain extent because you have to show up on time every day.
True.
Right. So, yes, but guys, keep in mind that the attendance is a very rigid requirement here.
And I believe that GLC is known that it can we can intern throughout the year and everything. But guys, I would like to break this to you all that attendance has become compulsory in GLC also now. So from the first year to fifth year, you have to attend colleges, and it is 75%. We have like digital systems who are taking, like we have scanners in our ID card, and we have to scan our ID cards every day, and then our attendance gets calculated. So if you are coming for attendance kind of thing, please keep this in mind. Yeah, so moving ahead with the academics, too, you have already said ki academics ka it is good and stuff. Even GLC to just build upon that. Even GLC ka academics now it has become stricter, and like teachers and professors are also getting permanent, and the level is also growing each day. So I believe in that perspective, ILS and GLC stands at the same level. Now, what about the faculty? Would you like to say about that anything?
Well, see, as I said, so faculty is pretty much intrinsically connected to academics. So, as in terms of the faculty is honestly pretty good, right? So, there are professors here who are at the top of their game, very simply. So, and mostly you're going to get a lot of visiting faculty, which a lot of people think is a disadvantage, but it really isn't because it adds a tinge of, not a tinge, in fact, it adds a very good amount of practical knowledge which comes into while you're being taught, right? So the professors here are pretty great. Especially if you're interested in international law, then I would say that the faculty here is more than amazing. Right. There's Divya Mittal ma'am, and then there's Nitish Navsagre sir. They're all very accomplished in their fields. And the faculty here is also very coordinated, right? So coordinating, I apologize, because in the end it's more of a academic focused college, right? So the faculty has to be helpful, and
True.
they are, that's what, like, so once you come in here you'll notice that because of the entire visiting faculty system and everything else, it becomes an interconnected network, right, wherein your learning is not just limited to theory, but the moment you get to your third year and your actual law subject starts, most of the professors are practicing daily, right? They visit you right before they go to court, so they'll give you quite a bit good of practical knowledge. In fact, I remember that in my arbitration class, I learned a lot of stuff which I actually applied in my internship the next day. Right, so that's there.
That's great to hear. And I would also say that, like, even in GLC, everything is similar only. Like ILS, we have visiting faculties. We also have permanent faculties, the number of which has increased recently. And also, like, I believe that in the law, this law subjects for us starts from third year. So I believe that we have very good professors from third year for the law subjects, like Professor Kishu Daswani, Professor Peetha Wala, who are exceptionally good. Like, even if you go and do a Google search, you'll know about them. So, like, considering again, then GLC and ILS, I believe, are on the same line, because I don't want to just reiterate what you've said, but everything he said about visiting faculty, it also applies to GLC, guys. Now, moving ahead with the mooting culture, ADR, extracurriculars, what do you have to say? Like, what is the ground reality of it?
Well, as for the mooting culture and the ADR and everything, I would say that it's encouraged in the college, very simply, because ILS sends out teams to pretty much each national moot or an international moot, right? Like, and in terms of ADR too. So there's intra college qualifiers for both, obviously, wherein you get ranks and then you get to represent your college further, right? So that's there, right? So it's pretty much encouraged, and I'll say that the international motoring culture is also pretty good, right? Because we have teams that go to Jessup every year mostly, and the national level moves. So I think both GLC and ILS both go, right? So that's there. But yeah, that's what. So the best part about the mooting culture is that it's not just sustained but actively encouraged, because the college is going to go ahead and provide you with grants and reimbursement for whatever, wherever you're going, for whatever expense you have, right? But it comes with terms and conditions, obviously. And you get allotted two mentors, usually a faculty mentor and a student mentor. So the student mentor helps you out with preliminary stuff, as in preparing for the moot and everything else. And then the faculty mentor actively goes through your checks, depending on who's been allotted to you. It's, I would say that yes, mooting culture is actively encouraged. And the seniors are also pretty helpful, because usually what happens is that once you're allotted a student mentor, you can also go and speak to seniors who've already done that previous mode or previous editions of that mode, right?
Correct.
So that also becomes a very collaborative network there. So yeah, that's pretty
In
much it.
GLC also, it is kind of similar only, that promoting cultures is very much more like promoted. Even ADR competitions, like, we participate in the most regional competition also and the international competitions. In fact, GLC has won many competitions last year, even like international. Even we have like our students have went to like abroad also to participate in the competitions, and there also they have bragged something or the other. So I believe that mooting culture is also kind of similar in both the colleges, and the committees handling both these mooting and ADRs are also very much active. If you reach out to the committee in GLC and ask them to provide you with mentors, they do provide. Apart from that, we have a very strong senior base, wherein we can just go to senior and ask for anything. Like, we know that, like, campus, coming to the next question and connecting it with the same. So campus is an issue in GLC. We don't have campus life as much as ILS people would have. But what I believe is, through committees, we get so much of exposure. Through internships, we get so much of exposure that when we participate in a moot competition, we have that much liberty to go and ask to any senior or even any practicing advocate to just guide us upon that subject matter. And even the faculty members, like recently, when I was also in a part of a committee, we reached out to even some prominent figures in the law field to just guide us. So, like, pretty much similar only. What do you would like to add upon campus, and then further on you can also interconnect it with placements and internships?
Okay. So in all honesty, I would say that yes, it is pretty similar. But in the end, I do believe that if you're connecting with people, or if you're making a collaborative environment, it can't be limited to just one event, right? Like, it can't be just because you are participating in a certain event, you reach out to certain people, because
Correct,
that
correct.
creates a very limited frame of engagement, right? So that's where I do believe that ILS has sort of an edge, because the campus life is pretty great, right? So the campus has many places you can just sit and talk, right? And in fact, the library is also pretty huge. So the library is one of the bragging points of ILS, to say. right? So the library is pretty well stocked, and if you're studying there, there's somebody who's going to come up and talk to you, or you can go and talk to someone, right? So it creates more of an holistic environment, is what I'm saying. And honestly, I believe that you can start networking in ILS itself, right? So which helps you eventually when you go ahead. So it's a great start there. And as for the campus life, I would say that it's pretty great. Like, so ILS is involved in a lot of cultural events. So if that's your thing, like dramatics and everything else, then ILS is definitely your place to be, because we do a lot of major level events. I apologize, I don't have the exact details of them, but you can just go and look up ILS culturals. I think that there's a page there, where they highlight everything that they do, right? And moving on, even these culturals, the cultural club which does dramatics, the best part is that they transfer it to ground level reality, right? So these cultures or these kits that you put up, what happens is that you get a chance in legal aid to go to rural areas and actively reach out to people who need this sort of awareness, right? Through various mediums, posters, dramatics, skits, everything else, right? And I also believe that is a very good factor, because at some point in your life, you should go and look at what is happening in nature. Now, I know this sounds very preachy coming from a fifth year student himself, राइट कि ऐसे थोड़ा ज्यादा ही बोल रहा हूँ मैं, बट देखो इन दी एंड सब चीज एक्सपीरियंस करके देखो एंड देन सी, राइट? लीगल एड से पता चलता है कि एग्जैक्टली कितना डिस्कनेक्ट है in our idea of the awareness of the law, right, which we assume that every client has. And when you actually look at people who are at that level, it's very different, right? So I believe that every law student at some point in their life should experience that. And outside of that, the campus has a gym, a swimming pool, and the library, right? So mostly they're open to access. So that's not a problem. So if that's your thing, that's also there. So
Oh,
yeah.
so, like, just to like relate it to this, I just remember that in GLC, like we also have legal aid, as you said, that it is also a very good growing committee. So, if guys you are thinking to like come into GLC, then please do participate in all the like all the committees, including legal aid, because what they do is like they are planning to like visit Mantralaya, they visit different courts to give actual and practical knowledge to first years and second year students of how the court proceeds and what are the structures of the court and everything around that. And also like not only in terms of that, but GLC is very promoting in terms of personal achievements also. We have a like dedicated community wherein if any person achieves or any person comes up with anything or even handles a Instagram page wherein somebody is achieving something, the community post it there and the whole college supports them. Even like recently, guys, I would like to suggest this channel which is GLC, like GLC and Lore, if I'm not wrong. It is started by our seniors, and wherein like the alumni of GLC are called upon to have a panel discussion or a group discussion kind of thing, which is very good. If you see those videos, you'll understand how the law works. So yeah, connecting this topic to the next topic, which is placements and internships. So first I'll go with GLC, then you can continue with ILS. So in GLC, the placements and internships are way, way, way too good. I was a part of the placement committee, so I know the ground reality of how it works and everything. So we have a dedicated website, a page in Google wherein you can just search GLC websites, wherein each day at least 5 to 6 or at least 4 to 5 notices are posted about for the position of intern, for the position of trainee, permanent jobs, paralegals and stuff like that, all kinds of things. And you have in-house, you have like you have trainees, you have MNCs coming, you have banks, you have judicial internship, we have every sort of thing. And like for PPO also, like for permanent placement offer for job security, we also have the top tiers and the big fours coming in, like Cyril Amarchal Mangaldas, Shardul Amarchal Mangaldas, CAM, Trilegal, AZB, and everything coming. So I believe that it is pretty good, pretty decent. And even if you don't want to do it, you can just go into Fort. You can ask any lawyer to give you internship, and you can do it there. So I believe that is kind of good factor of GLC. What about ILS?
Okay, guys. So moving on. See, as for the internships part of it, I'll be very honest, right? So it's that obviously Mumbai gives you the locational advantage. That's it. right? So that's a very good thing about GLC. As for ILS, I would say that we have a pretty active internship cell, right, which gives you a lot of updates regarding, like, let's say whatever internships you need. Like there's a lot of bank internships, and then there's in-house internships and stuff like that. In fact, ICICI gets interns from our college every year, so you should check that opportunity out definitely. But yeah, other than that, I would say that in terms of placements, also ILS does fairly well, right? But you have to understand that ILS's placements are mostly on the corporate side of it, right, rather than at firms. So there's a lot of companies that come in, primarily banks, right? So there's Deutsche Bank, there's HSBC Bank, and then there's a lot of other banks that come in. There's
Even Barclays have
KPMG,
come up,
Deloitte,
right?
and everything else. Yes. So yeah, there's a lot of companies that come in. So there's some international firms also, right? We had three placements last year in international firms. So that's there. But I would say, yeah, see, if you're interested in primarily corporate understanding, then ILS is a good place, right? So because there's a lot of focus. And honestly, if I'm looking at internship opportunities in Pune, arbitration is a big thing here,
Yeah.
right? So one thing that I missed out on before this was that in terms of infrastructure, we also have ILSCA. So ILSCA is the ILS Center for Arbitration.
Oh,
So that entire center for arbitration is owned by ILS only, right? So what happens is that students can do internships there. Now, what is
wow.
this internship exactly? You fill out a form, right? And you can actually, and you'll have to sign a few NDAs because of the confidentiality, of course, right? And you can watch actual arbitral proceedings, right? You can sit and you can watch actual arbitral proceedings, get the ground reality. And the best part, because of ILS being a big thing in Pune, most of the people who are booking ILSCA for arbitrations are lawyers who are from Pune itself, right? And who are lawyers who have graduated from ILS itself. So you can go up to them, ask questions, understand why it happened, why was the cross that way. Because I have done it myself. It was pretty interesting, honestly. So that's there. But yeah, see, if you're talking about ground level reality of placements in top tier firms, I would say that if you're going for a law firm, GLC does have an edge, right? If you're looking for corporates, then yes, ILS might have a relatively better position. But yeah, if your aim is to work in a firm in the start, then yes, GLC is the place to be.
Okay, so coming to the next point, which is financial considerations. So I'll just tell थोड़ा सा information, फिर आप आगे का बोल देना. So basically, our college fees is nothing. It's like 6K if you are in aided, unaided ka 12K, and each year it differs something or the other. For reservations, it is barely 420 or 320, I believe. So it is a yearly fee, guys. And but the main thing is that living expenses is a lot. If you get into something like hostels through in Mumbai University, then congratulations, you have saved a lot of money. But if you stay outside, if you stay in flats, if you stay in PGs, then you are going to spend around 25 to 20K per month. So it rounds off to suppose 1 lakh, 1 plus lakh throughout the year. So understand that living expenses is heavy here, but also like getting a vibe, a city which works so fast makes you work faster. And also like it changes the perspective. I believe that you being from Mumbai, you know that Mumbai is an accepting city, wherein you go in the city and it accepts everyone. So it is a good place to live in. Also it is something different from usuals. Yeah.
Okay. So as for the living conditions here, well, obviously Pune is much cheaper than Mumbai. This is something I can tell you. I have seen both sides. Pune is much cheaper than Mumbai. As for the college fees are around 30 to 40K, right? Per year, obviously. And the thing is that if you are on a scholarship, I do believe there's certain scholarships available, then they waive the entire tuition fee. So that's there. And outside of that, ILS does have its own hostels, right? And I think they are more than accommodating. So I believe there's enough seats. But I think the boys' hostel this year has had a change. So if you're coming here, look at that. So yeah, see, if you're living in Pune, your living expenses are going to be pretty low, right? You can just there's a lot of student-friendly areas around, right? And you can just get a PG there, a flat there with a couple of friends, with a couple of people who come in. In fact, there's a group also. If you guys want to, then if there's enough requests on your channel, Shruti, let me know. So I'll just post that WhatsApp link there. So when people are looking for accommodation, they can. post on that group, or they can get some leads, whatever. So that's there. And outside, as for the city experience, I would say that yes, Mumbai is a very accepting city, but Mumbai is a very fast city, right? So you adjusting there is going to be, it's going to take time, but it's going to be worth it. Very honestly, it's going to be worth it, right? So yeah, Pune in itself is a different experience, not something I'm very opposed to, but yeah, again, it's a relative understanding, right? So if you want something in law school where a couple of years you just want to, focus on academics and not worry about everything else going around, राइट आई वुड से दैट आईएलएस इज द प्लेस टू बी बिकॉज मुंबई में तुम्हारे पास वो चांस नहीं है, तुम्हें सब कुछ सोचना है, ठीक है, तुम यहाँ से वहाँ कैसे जाओगे एंड एवरीथिंग एल्स which is again as said, like it requires a lot of planning and everything else. It imbues a skill set in you that you will need eventually, right? But that skill set can be learned later also, depending. So it really depends on where your priorities lie. And for Marathi speakers, Pune is definitely a easier city to adjust in. So that's there.
See, what I believe is that, like, living in Mumbai, if you are not living in hostel, then it gives you a chance to learn life in a better way because you are handling all your chores. Not only in Mumbai, but also in Pune. If you are living outside hostel,
Yeah.
it gives you a chance to learn life on your own, like how the things work actually, because we are always in a bubble where we when we stay at a house. So I would suggest that people should move out because this is the time, this is the age. We are not going to be this age again. So let's not go philosophical. Let's come back to this. Soumik, do you
Um,
have any idea about the fees of the hostel? Like just to give a rough idea to the audience.
See, I'm not really sure. See, as for the boys' hostel last year, it was around 55K, right,
Per
for a
year?
double room for the entire year, by the way. Yeah. So for the boys' hostel, it was 55K for a double room and 70 for a single room, right? But as I said, that structure is changing this particular year. I don't think the fees will change much, but the occupancy rates will. So keep in mind, and once you are looking for admissions, make sure that you contact the college administrators. And as for the girls' hostel, I think it's around 2 lakhs. I'm not 100% sure of the rates, right? But again, as I said, you can check with the administrator.
So for
And guys,
girls, it
on a
is
personal
50.
level, I would say,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
uh, on a personal level, I would say that for the first, second years, you stay in the hostel only, right? And once you build up enough friends, enough connections, and everything else, then you move out, right? That's okay. And yes, as for the girls' hostel, the fees, I mean, they're relatively justified because they cover everything, essentially, right? The food and everything else is covered in that particular amount. So you don't need to spend any other dime which is there. But yeah, sure. I mean, you can look for other sites as well, which are cheaper because there's a lot of hostels in Pune around this area, right? There's student-friendly accommodation, and then there's, if you don't prefer a hostel, then there's multiple PGs and flats की तो कमी है नहीं, right? क्योंकि बहुत student-friendly area है, 1-2 kilometer दूर, and the buses are also pretty fairly well if you don't have a two-wheeler. So that's it.
Okay, just to talk about hostels in Mumbai. So we do not have any college hostels. We have Mumbai University hostels. We have two for girls and two for boys. Yes, wherein you get admissions बहुत कष्ट करने के बाद you won't get it easily. And you would think that बाहर ले ले, फ्लैट ले ले, पीजी ले ले, that would be better. But if you are like persistent enough कि तुम्हारा कम खर्चे में तुम मुंबई में अच्छे से रह सकते हो, then hostel is a very good option. You have to pay just 3K for 6 months, if I'm not wrong, or 7K for 6 months, something like that, which is negligible to be honest here. So yeah, so like let's move to the next point, which is we have covered campus life. So just brief about the committee events and the college cultural and sports culture. तो we have covered sports का.
Okay, so as for sports, I'll say ILS में teams तो है, right? Mostly तुम्हारा जो भी like whatever sport you want to play, there's probably a college team, right? 100%. Also the best part about ILS infrastructure is that there's a huge ground, right, in college where you can just go and play whatever you want, right? I mean, I believe that the ground is being renovated as of now. But yeah, that I think that should solve itself pretty soon. So that's there. Sports are there. Students do take a lot of interest in it. College does sponsor certain events, but I'm not 100% sure of to exactly to what extent or how they do that. I know a couple of people who play basketball. Right? They did get grants for certain tournaments. So that's there. See, it's a very student-led initiative, right? I wouldn't say it's a very campus or an infrastructure-led initiative. I'm not 100% sure as to exactly कितना support मिलता है, right? But I know कि support मिलता है. Just to what extent, I'm not 100% sure. So yes, the sports culture is there. A lot of people play badminton and stuff on the ground. There's a huge ground in the middle of the campus, so you can use that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry, I forgot what the earlier part of that question was. Sports and
Committees.
committees, yes. So committees, yes. Committees are definitely active in this college, right? So there's committees for pretty much everything. There's arbitration, mediation, international law, public law, constitutional law. There's a lot, right? All of these are pretty active, and especially in your first year, I do believe that these give you very good exposure, right? Because first second year में तुम law तो नहीं पढ़ने वाला, IELTS में हो, GLC में, right? So you're going to study sociology and stuff like that. So these committees provide you an entry or a gateway into law and what it actually is. So committees in ILS are pretty active, right? There's a lot of intra-college events that go on. There's a lot of inter-college events that go on. In fact, ILS has an MUN for its own students every year, right? So as a practicing thing, and eventually we are also going to bring in participation, structured participation to other colleges. Right. So because then participating in an MUN and winning is very financially rewarding. So that's there. So if that's your skill set, you can do that. So ILS encourages that. And outside of that, most of the committees have newsletters going out weekly. So if you want to write for a newsletter, if you want to get beginning exposure in academic writing, then yes, ILS also actively encourages that, right? Because there's editorial boards led by seniors, pretty collaborative process. So that's there. And additionally, these committees also have a lot of conferences. Then we have a national moot court competition. We have a national ADR competition as well. Right? So yes, even volunteering for those competitions teaches you a lot. And if you want to be a part of a committee, definitely, right? So that also gives you a lot of exposure according to your interest. So yes, I would say that this particular committee culture in ILS is pretty active, right? All of the committees are doing pretty well in their own respective domains, and they are very initiative led, right? Because there's faculty coordinators who are good at what they do, right, or who have an actual interest in that subject. So therefore, they take the committee forward in new and ingenious or an innovative way. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so coming to the committee culture in GLC, we have around 20 plus committees wherein we cover everything. As you said, everything that you said applies to GLC as well. But just to add on to it, we believe that like in the last 2 years, the students are given a lot of chances to come up with committees. Like last year, we got two new committees, IPR cell, which is working like the best committee which I have seen because they have started the first national IPR trademark opposition competition, which has never happened before. Also, like we have jurisprudence and research cell, then we have like social media committee. We have so many different committees wherein you get a holistic development. If you become a part of one, you you get a holistic development. Apart from that, sports, again, sports also, we have a committee, dedicated committee. And if I'm not wrong, our sports team has represented like GLC in every NLU competition and have grabbed very good awards. And so I believe that even like considering the checkpoints, if we are considering from the student point of view who are planning to come to GLC and ILS, pretty much of the points are kind of similar. Just that what you want depends on that. If you want something overedged over something less, like if you want better internship experiences or you want better campus life, then you can choose between GLC and ILS. Not only this, other perspective also, but this was just an example. So yeah, cultural event also, we have some like a Zankar, which is the best cultural event which I've seen in Mumbai. It like various like OCs are sent here and there, and then dancing, singing, everything is promoted. Even freshers are done for the freshers, and I believe that it happens in ILS also. It is a bare minimum. So yeah, and even we have covered hostel facilities and alumni base also. We have like we can just cover upon that in the last point. And I believe that we are done with it. We have less time, so if we can wrap up.
Yes. So as for the alumni network, I would say that ILS is pretty interconnected, right? So there's alumni meets every year, right? Where the respected alumni are coming in, and You get to interact with them and everything else. Like one of the strongest points of ILS is that I would say that our alumni network, especially since as I said, so now there's visiting faculty and everything. Right? All of them are connected to some teachers, they're connected to some student, they're connected to some other alumni you may know in some other way, right? So getting internships in Pune for you will get fairly easy if you're an ILS student because you'll
Got
have an edge over almost every other college.
got it.
So that's there, and the alumni network is also pretty wide, right? So I think we have partners in Samvad, Denton, Scam. Then there's Aman Datta. He's doing pretty well in terms of arbitration as of now. So yeah, that's there. The best part about ILS and its alumni network is that it's very interconnected, and somebody knows someone, right? You can just talk to your faculty and ask them, do they know this particular person, and they will respond, right? They'll give you a way to contact this person, and then you can talk to them. And yeah, as I said, you'll find an ILS alumni in at least one ILS alumni in some firm, right? 100%. And
So,
I know this personally, honestly. So that's there.
and
So that's a very good thing, especially in Pune. It gets very easy for you. So that's it.
I believe that whatever points I want to say, you're already covering it, and I'm just saying that everything you say applies same to us. So yes, even the alumni base, I don't think so that I need to speak upon it because GLC is known for its alumni. You can look in the past, you can look the history, you know that GLC was there everywhere and is there everywhere. So I don't think so I should speak anything on that. So yeah, this brings us to the end of this video. If you would like to add on anything, we are short of time. Just you can like just do it in a minute or two.
As I said, Shruti very rightly pointed that it's a zero sum game or it's a balance of probability. Figure what you want in life. And uske hisab se. And don't put too much pressure on it, as I said, because see, colleges sure they do play it's a good role in deciding where you go, but they're not the only factor. They're never going to be the only factor. So you decide on what you want to do and you go ahead. Right? As I said, see, both are equally good options depending on what constraints you have or what priorities you have. You can choose either one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But I would say that yes, IELTS also, since it's more academic focused, there's a lot of students who go on to Ivy League universities, and then there's a lot of students who do the judicial clerkship exam. In fact, we have an competitive exam cell, right, which trains you for whatever
Same.
competitive exams you may want to give, right? So that's there. So either way, देखो मतलब अभी फिर तुम्हारे पे तुम बैठो, you
Exactly.
understand the locational constraints and everything else. उसके हिसाब से go ahead.
सब कुछ आप लोगों पर है, आपको जो भी डिसाइड करना है, आपको आपके जो भी पर्सपेक्टिव्स है कि आपको आपकी कौन सी नीड्स केटर करनी है, उस हिसाब से आप कॉलेज डिसाइड करो. बिकॉज कमिंग फ्रॉम दिस डिस्कशन आई बिलीव दैट ऑलमोस्ट एवरी थिंग इज काइंड ऑफ सिमिलर. सिर्फ मतलब 9-10 की बात है, कोई एक चीज में आगे कोई एक चीज में पीछे, बट बाकी सब कुछ अलग है. एंड लाइक इट डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पर्सनैलिटी यू आर एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स यू वांट. So yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope this was helpful. Make a checklist of in both the sides. Tick whichever points you want, and then you can calculate as per that. You can decide which in which thing you want to go and you don't want to go in. And yeah, that's it. And even we have LLM courses in GLC. I should not forget that. But this is
Oh
essential.
yeah, same. Right.
Yeah.
I needed to change. Yeah. So there's BALLB in ILS and there's BBLLB in ILS.
Okay.
Right. In addition to LLM programs, and you can do a diploma in multiple subjects. So the diplomas will come up. Like there's a diploma
Same,
in
same,
corporate law.
same.
There's a diploma, I think, in international law or something. So that's also there. So look that up too.
Yeah. Just go on the Google